Okay, so 2 days ago I did the books I wish I had read in 2019 Sci-Fi Fantasy Edition video, but now I just want to talk about the rest of the books I wish I'd read in 2019. I broke this up into 2 videos because I had so many books to talk about. So here is just like all of the other books. This could be contemporary, thrillers, romance, etc. So let's get right into this list. It's a big one. The first one is called Boy Swallows Universe by Trent Dalton, and I've literally not seen one person talk about this book at all, and it has incredible reviews on Goodreads. It sounds like it's a very like hard-hitting adult contemporary novel, which I just love. I love when a book can make me cry and feel the things. It says it's a novel of love, crime, magic, fate, and coming of age set in Brisbane's violent working class suburban fringe from one of Australia's most exciting new writers. So it is an Australian book, a story of brotherhood, true love, and most unlikely of friendships. I love these types of novels that follow like one character through multiple decades of their life and kind of go through, you know, relationships that they build and kind of how they come of age and come into themselves. I just love that. So this sounds like a really great one. The next one is What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon. This is an historical fiction, but it also has a time travel element to it, which is always very exciting. I like time travel. So this one says it's a woman's impossible journey through the ages that could change everything. Anne Gallagher grew up enchanted by her grandfather's stories of Ireland. Heartbroken at his death, she travels to his childhood home to spread his ashes. There, overcome with memories of the man she adored and consumed by a history she never knew, she is pulled into another time. I'm in. I love a good time travel book. This sounds very like Outlander, where it's mixing like a little bit of time travel and like sci-fi / fantasy elements with like historical fiction. So I love Outlander, and anything that reminds me of Outlander, I'm gonna add to my TBR. So this sounds like a really, really good one. Another one actually came from a recommendation from a family member who had read this and absolutely loved it, and it has incredible reviews on Goodreads. And that's called A Fire Sparkling by Julianne Maclean. It's a World War II historical fiction, which I love World War II historical fictions. Ever since I read The Nightingale, I like can't get enough of them. So this one is about one woman's loss, love, and courage during wartime. So after a crushing betrayal by the man she loves, Gillian Gibbons flees to her family home for a much-needed escape, but when she finds an old photograph of her grandmother in the arms of a Nazi officer, Gillian's life gets even more complicated. Rattled by the discovery, Gillian attempts to unravel the truth behind the photos, sending her off on an epic journey through the past. So it just, once again, I love these kinds of books that take place in like our modern time, but they find like this letter or this photo that takes them back to trying to discover a story that happened in the past with like an ancestor or something like that. I've read quite a few of those and I just love them. So this one, again, sounds like an incredible book. And it says it's perfect for fans of The Nightingale and Beneath a Scarlet Sky, which both of those books I absolutely loved. So very excited. And I said this in my sci-fi fantasy books I wish I'd read video. I'm trying to find books that not everyone is talking about. So I purposefully left off quite a few books that are also on my radar, but are just constantly talked about. Like I'm not gonna mention Red, White, and Royal Blue. Like I'm not gonna mention Serpent and Dove because everyone has been talking about those. Like you know that they're popular, you know people wanna read them because of the hype. So I'm trying to leave those types of books off and bring up books that I see no one talking about or very few people talking about, just to shed light on a variety of new books. The next book I have is Heidi's Guide to 4-Letter Words. This is an adult romance. It says that it follows a woman named Heidi Larson, who is a former kindergarten teacher that leads a scandalous double life reading erotic novels to the listening world. And with each episode, she finds herself embracing her new alter ego more and more. So it sounds like she's not only the kindergarten teacher, but the person on the phone talking erotica. So I'm intrigued. This sounds very steamy and cute. So I love a good, like, lighthearted romance that has a little bit of steam to it. So this one sounds like a fun one for sure. Next one is The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson, which says it's a horror novel that's like a mystery / coming of age. / young adult. What is this book? It's like every genre. It says that it's a short, irresistible, and bittersweet coming-of-age story in the vein of Stranger Things and Stand By Me, about a group of misfit kids who spend an unforgettable summer investigating local ghost stories and urban legends. That's all I need to know. If you compare it to Stranger Things, like, I'm gonna read it because I love Stranger Things. It's one of my favorites, so I'm in. It's in the 80s, Niagara Falls, got the group of friends, ghost stories. I'm all about it. This would have been a perfect Halloween read. I don't know why I didn't read this in October. That sounds so good. Ooh, this next one. Okay, this next one is an adult thriller. It is called Here to Stay by Mark Edwards. And this one sounds like it's more of a domestic thriller that follows a woman named Gemma Robinson who comes into Elliot's life like a whirlwind, and they marry and settle into his home, and she asks him if her parents can come to stay for a couple of weeks, and he's of course willing to oblige, but doesn't know what he's signed up for. The Robinsons, that's the wife's family, they arrive with Gemma's sister, who is a mysterious young woman who refuses to speak and leave her room. The husband starts to suspect that his wife's family is hiding this dark secret, and as the in-laws become more comfortable in his home, it becomes clear that they have no intention of moving out. So to protect Gemma and their marriage, Elliot delves into the Robinsons' past. Is he prepared for the truth? No, he's not. I'm sure of it. I'm so excited for this one. This sounded so good and intriguing. I love like a good domestic thriller, and it just sounds like this one's like claustrophobic, where you're on the edge of your seat because the enemy is like right around the corner. It just sounds so good. So I'm really excited to read that one. Next one is another adult thriller that I'm probably the most excited to read, and this one I have seen talked about a little bit on BookTube. So this is not one that I'm suspecting a lot of you have never heard of, but this one's called No Exit by Taylor Adams, which is basically about a woman who is on a road trip somewhere and has to pull off the road because there's a blizzard, and so she stops at this gas station with this little diner, and while she's getting gas, she sees that one of the cars parked in the parking lot has like a child in the trunk, or like the back, and like the child's in a cage, like kidnapped. So she goes into the diner because she can't get back on the road because of the blizzard, and she realizes that she is in this diner stuck with someone who is like a kidnapper, and she doesn't know who it is, and she has to figure it out. Oh my god, this sounds so good. This sounds like a really good like winter read when it's snowing out or something, and oh, it just sounds really like claustrophobic. I don't know why I'm excited for that. Like, why am I excited to get scared? I love like a good thriller though that's like creepy. What is wrong with me? What does that say about me? I don't know, but it just sounds really good. The next one is one that I have seen on quite a few lists of just like some of the most popular books of the year, and that is A Woman Is No Man by Itaf Rum. This one, it sounds like, is like an adult historical fiction about an Arab American voice that takes us inside the lives of conservative Arab women living in America. So it's about 18-year-old Daya is starting to meet with suitors. She doesn't want to get married, but her grandparents give her no choice. History is repeating itself. Daya's mother, Isra, also had no choice when she left Palestine as a teenager to marry Adam. Though Daya was raised to believe her parents died in a car accident, a secret note from a mysterious yet familiar-looking woman makes Daya question everything she was told about her past. So this sounds like it's got a slight mystery to it, but just really focuses on these like characters' lives and relationships with each other, which I just love books like that. Again, I love hard-hitting contemporaries, so if this is a hard-hitting contemporary that is as good as everyone says it is, I'm very excited to give it a try. The next book, it's actually not quite the synopsis that sold me on this one because it's a very confusing synopsis, so I'm not even going to try to explain it. But it's The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood, who wrote one of my favorite books, probably of all time, and that is All the Ugly and Wonderful Things. I loved that book, and I know it's controversial, so if it's not your thing, totally fine. I loved All the Ugly and Wonderful Things. I thought it was gorgeous. So I would read anything Bryn Greenwood comes out with solely because of that book. So A Reckless Oath We Made is her latest release that came out this past August. And it essentially sounds like it's kind of not in the same vein as All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, but it has the same writing style and types of characters that you just fall in love with and can root for, even though they're extremely flawed. So I just love her character work. So I will read anything by Bryn Greenwood, anything. Another one by an author who I had already read, Katherine Center's Things You Save in a Fire. I read her book, How to Walk Away, which I absolutely loved once again. So Things You Save in a Fire is about a woman firefighter who moves to a new town to take care of her mother. And basically she has to adapt to this new fire station she's working at where none of the men take her seriously because she's a woman firefighter, and she starts up this romance with this firefighter in this fire station, and it just sounds really cute. So I've heard great things. I loved her writing in How to Walk Away. I loved her characters. So once again, and female firefighters, that's awesome. That sounds really cool. So I'm all in. I love this and I can't wait to read it. The last thing I have to talk about is Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vandera. This one is an adult contemporary, and I think it has a mystery element to it. It says it's about a mysterious child that teaches two strangers how to love and trust again. It says, after the loss of her mother in her own battle with breast cancer, Joanna Teal returns to her graduate research on nesting birds in rural Illinois, determined to prove that her recent hardships have not broken her. She throws herself into her work from dusk to dawn until her solitary routine is disrupted by the appearance of a mysterious child who shows up at her cabin barefoot and covered in bruises. Okay, I'm already like, okay, I'm interested. That sounds really good. But then it says the girl calls herself Ursa, and she claims to have been sent from the stars to witness 5 miracles. With concerns about the child's home situation, Jo reluctantly agrees to let her stay just until she learns more about Ursa's past. Again, I love this. I love that this is a child who says she came from the stars. It sounds like she's gonna help this character get out of really hard times. I love these kinds of books. So it has incredible reviews. I really would love to read it, and I just haven't heard a ton of people review it. So very excited to read this one as well. So many good books, oh my God. So those are the a lot of books that I want to read in 2020 that I didn't get to read in 2019 that were released recently. And I'm trying to find books that aren't talked about over and over and over again on BookTube, so that we start having discussions about other books as well as the popular ones, because that's how it should be. So if you have any others that you would recommend to me that came out recently that you're really excited to read and haven't read yet, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know what some of your most anticipated books that you're excited to read are. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!